Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? Thank you, thank you. And you heard the short address from Manish Jaiswal. What a wonderful young man. Give him a big hand. We are so happy. Fani and I, Fanindra Sama, who, pretty much I guess everyone here knows, had the privilege of starting Kakatiya Sandbox just about 11 years ago. I think it was in July 2013 that we started the organization, inspired by the work that Desh Deshpande and Jayashree Deshpande have been doing in Hubli for about 5 years before we started Kakatiya Sandbox. And so the central idea there was about really improving income level in rural India. And we picked a close-knit geography, roughly 10 million people. That's about 1 crore. So everything we do is in just that geography, right? And so over the last 11 years, today I would say some of our programs have really gone beyond the original North Telangana districts that we picked. Some of that, in fact, I think we have some students from parts of Maharashtra and other parts of Telangana itself. So today I would say our impact region is roughly about 1% of India's population. And at a high level, there are 3 main elements of what makes a sandbox. One, it is a bottom-up form of socio-economic development, meaning unless the local people are an active part of the solution, these changes are not sustainable. It can be somebody sitting in Bangalore or Hyderabad, let alone Silicon Valley, that can drive these things. We can certainly catalyze it. We all can play a very big role. But I think through the course of the day, you will see that there are a lot of local people that have taken a huge step forward, and they are a very strong ownership. And I think last night, some of you were at the Thai dinner, you probably got a glimpse of that. And one of my sort of favorite segments of the development dialogue is a session called, a small segment called Dreams Have No Boundaries. So these are people coming from the villages and have transformed their lives, and some of them creating jobs for others. So that's an example of bottom-up form of socio-economic development. Second is using an entrepreneurial mindset to address social challenges. As my mentor and the founder of the Sandbox ecosystems, Dr. Gururaj Deshpande likes to say, if you can combine the compassion of the non-profit world with the execution excellence of the for-profit world, that's when you get really significant sustainable impact. And so I think you'll find that in most of what we do, we talk about kind of the metrics, and a big part of that is also building a strong organization that can attract, nurture great talent. And Manish is, of course, a wonderful example. But beyond that, you'll find that there are several people now who are part of the leadership team in Kakatiya Sandbox, many that have come from the villages, from this region, and of course, quite a few from other parts of India. So I think that's a very important aspect. It can't always be just giving money, but philanthropic dollars that have a real impact is something that we try and look into with an entrepreneurial mindset. The third is scale. Country of 1 billion people, unless you touch a large enough population, you can make a meaningful difference. So roughly, as I said, today it's about 1% of India's population. The idea is if there are 20 such ecosystems, that's 20% of India, and more like 25% of India's rural population. So then you start having a big impact, right? And so over the last 11 years, to me, I guess at a high level, there are 3 big takeaways. One, change absolutely is possible. Impact is very real. To date, I think we have touched about maybe 2 million people, about 20 lakh population. So we still got a long way to go. And out of that, I would say maybe about 5 lakh people. That's about 500,000 people where it's a life-altering impact. That's very measurable, where their income levels have gone up substantially, sometimes 2x or even 3-4x, right? So that's absolutely possible. It takes time, but it does happen. Second, Uh, I'm personally a big believer in the power of relatable role models. I myself, as a tech entrepreneur in Silicon Valley, I was inspired by people like Kanwal Rekhi, Desh Deshpande, and others. I said, hey, if they can do, why not me, right? That's kind of how I started my entrepreneur journey. And I know there are a lot of amazing entrepreneurs here today who probably have a similar experience in their life. And I think the same thing happens at a micro level. When one of these young students from a village comes out and, from a disadvantaged background, when he or she sort of, gets a job and starts supporting the family, and some of them got into companies like Accenture and Google and others, it's amazing what it does to the rest of the children in that village. Children as in young adults, I must say. Or even when you find a progressive farmer in a village, if, he starts finding a big difference with his work, it immediately propagates to the other people in the village. So I think over the last 20, 30 years, we lost some of this cadre of young, positive role models that they can relate to in these villages. And I think in Sandbox, that's kind of what we've been creating over the last several years. And that can only accelerate. Once again, you'll hear some of those stories. As Manish said, when you walk around the conference today, we have the farmers track, the students track, micro entrepreneurs, some of the booths here. So please, try and engage with some of those people. You'll find these amazing, wonderful examples of young change makers. And third is really, what all of you that have traveled from far and wide, from other parts of India and around the world, have a huge role to play. And many of you, I know, are coming back here for second, third, maybe fifth, sixth time. And, people like Venkat Matella, Dr. N.C. Murthy, and, Shrikant Pakala, just names Sandhya Prakash. So thank you all for making those trips. Because when you, come here and engage with the people here, many of you have been also participating actively with your ideas, talent, capital, and that means a lot. I just can't thank you enough. So please give a big hand to all those people that have been coming here. Because your ideas matter, your time matters, your talent, capital, everything, your network, that's immensely valuable to the people here. It's like local ownership with global talent, global resources. I think that's absolutely the formula that is required if we truly have to transform rural India. And many of you are here for the first time, and thank you once again for making that trip. And we hope to see you come back. And Nizamabad will be, and we will do everything necessary to make this a home that you can always come back to. Thank you once again, and enjoy the day and the conference.